The girl with the fractured soul. The Ketheri were a species of graceful, crystal-boned humanoids whose bodies shimmered under starlight like carved gemstones. Their culture valued symmetry, perfection, and the unbroken line of their crystalline anatomy, which was why Arena lived in the shadows. Her fractures, thin silver scars webbing across her left arm, shoulder, and cheek, were a mark of tragedy. When she was a child, a shuttle malfunction hurled her family into a collision course with a drifting meteor shard. She alone survived, but the crash shattered more than her bones. In Ketheri culture, bonding, life partnership, required the joining of two near-perfect crystalline forms. Symmetry of soul, symmetry of body, symmetry of light. Arena, with her scars, was considered incomplete, broken, unfit. So she dedicated herself to work instead. She taught at the Galactic Academy, specializing in xenobiology and cultural exchanges. Her posture was flawless, her academic record exceptional, but no matter how highly she rose, no matter how many worlds she visited, people still saw only the imperfections, the fractures, the proof she wasn't whole. She had learned long ago to lower her gaze when others whispered, to shrink her glow, to hide her crystalline skin beneath layered robes. And above all, she learned not to hope until the day humanity joined the Academy staff. Part 1. The Human Who Didn't Flinch. The arrival of humans had stirred the halls into excited chaos. Humanity was new to the galaxy, bold and unpredictable, a species whose biology seemed like a paradox. Soft bodies, but unbreakable spirits, fragile bones, yet impossible endurance, a reckless courage that baffled most civilizations. Arena wasn't interested in meeting the human representative. New species often stared at her scars with the same mix of pity and discomfort. But when she entered the Academy's arboretum and saw him studying a cluster of starlight orchids with childlike awe, something unexpected made her pause. He was tall, with messy hair and a jacket far too casual for the refined halls of the Academy. He murmured to the flowers as if they were old friends. When he turned and saw her, he blinked once
and smiled.
Not politely, not awkwardly, but genuinely.
"Hi," he said.
"I'm Daniel Reyes. You must be the Ketheri xenobiologist Professor Solon keeps bragging about." Arena froze. People didn't brag about her. They tolerated her. She bowed slightly. "I am Arena of the Sapphire Line. It is a pleasure." Daniel tilted his head, studying her, not the way others did, fixated on the scars, but as if he were cataloging her presence, her whole self. His gaze lingered, not on her fractures, but on her eyes. "Your lines," he said softly, "they're beautiful." Her breath caught. "No one has ever said that to me." He frowned. "Seriously? Why not?" She hesitated, then turned slightly so the glow from the orchid blossoms illuminated the scars running down her cheek. "These fractures," she whispered, "they are imperfections. They make me unsuitable for bonding. Unbalanced. A Ketheri with broken symmetry." Daniel stepped closer. His expression wasn't pity. It wasn't horror.
It was awe.
Arena, humans have a word for scars. She swallowed. "What word?" "Evidence." She blinked. "Evidence of surviving," he added. "Evidence of strength. Evidence that life hit you hard, and you fought back. No one had ever said anything like that to her. No one had ever looked at her scars with reverence instead of revulsion.
She didn't dare breathe.
Daniel smiled again, softer this time. Can I ask something? Why, yes. Would you show me the rest? Only if you're comfortable. Her hands trembled, but she nodded. Slowly, she pulled back her sleeve, revealing the fractures tracing her arm like shimmering river currents under moonlight. Human eyes couldn't track the faint glows the way Ketheri eyes could, but Daniel leaned in slightly, studying the delicate networks. He didn't recoil. He didn't wince. He whispered, "They're stunning." Her heart, her crystalline heart, flared with light. For the first time in years, she didn't dim it. Part 2. A bond that shouldn't exist. Days turned to weeks, and somehow, Daniel became part of Elwyarena's life. He sought her out during research cycles. He asked questions not just about Ketheri anatomy, but about her favorite nebulae, her preferred tea, what dreams she once held before the fractures. He made her laugh, a rare, crystalline sound she had nearly forgotten she could make. Humans were shockingly uninhibited, Daniel especially so. "Why hide this?" he asked one evening, lightly touching the faint fracture above her wrist. "Your people should be proud of you." "They are ashamed," she murmured. "Then that's their flaw, not yours." But Ketheri culture was strict. Bonding rituals required approval from one's line council. And humans were not considered compatible, emotionally or biologically. When whispers circulated that Elwyarena spent time with the human, other Ketheri raised their brows. Some mocked. Some grew hostile. One instructor asked her bluntly, "Have you no pride left?" Daniel noticed the shift in behavior. One night, as they walked across the glowing crystal pathways overlooking the academy skyline, he stopped suddenly. "Elwyarena, tell me the truth. Am I making trouble for you?" Her voice broke. "Only because you see me. And that's wrong." "No," she whispered. "It is the only thing that feels right." He stared at her for a long moment. Then come with me." Her eyes widened. "What?" "Tomorrow. To the Intercultural Assembly. Walk with me publicly. Stand beside me." Elwyarena trembled. "Daniel, they will judge." "They already do," he said. "I'd rather give them something worth talking about." Humans were terrifying, she thought. Terrifying and incredible. Part 3. The Assembly. The grand hall orbited above the academy, a crystalline sphere suspended in space, where representatives from dozens of species gathered. Daniel entered confidently. Elwyarena followed, but hesitated. Dozens of eyes turned toward them, some whispering, some sneering. Her scars glowed faintly under the hall's light, too visible, too stark. Daniel noticed her shoulders tense. He reached out and gently took her hand. The hall gasped. Ketheri eyes widened. Bonding gestures, physical connection, were sacred. To perform them publicly was to declare an emotional claim. Elwyarena froze. "Daniel, we don't hide who we care about," he said quietly. "Not in my culture." She looked at him. No mockery, no fear, just truth. Her heart illuminated fully, shards glowing with soft lavender radiance. Murmurs erupted like storms. The Ketheri High Scholar approached, crystalline robes flowing. "Elwyarena," the old figure said sharply, You disgrace your line. Release the human. She expected Daniel to step back. He didn't move. She expected him to apologize. He didn't lower his gaze. Instead, he said calmly, "If her scars disgrace anything, then your culture lacks the wisdom to see beauty in resilience." The hall went silent. Every species stared. No one spoke to Ketheri elders like that. Ever. The high scholar hissed softly. "Humans know nothing of our ways." Daniel nodded. "You're right. But I know this. You have a brilliant, courageous woman standing right here, and you've spent years convincing her she's broken." Elwyarena's breath hitched. He squeezed her hand gently. "Where I come from," Daniel continued, "we don't hide scars.
We honor them. We learn from them.
We love through them." A ripple went through the hall. "And if you think your rules will stop me from cherishing someone like her," Daniel said, voice steady, "you misunderstand what a human heart is capable of." Elwyarena nearly collapsed under the weight of the moment. No one had ever stood for her. No one had ever spoken for her. Until the stubborn, impossible human arrived. The high scholar glared, then turned sharply and left, robes snapping behind them. Several Ketheri followed, some outraged, some shocked, some uncertain. But a few looked at Elwyarena with new eyes. Eyes that finally saw something other than scars. Part 4. The New Light. After the assembly, the hall emptied slowly. Elwyarena and Daniel walked alone on the balcony, overlooking the stars. Her voice trembled. "I don't know what happens now." Daniel smiled. "We keep walking." She looked down at their joined hands. "Are you sure, Daniel? Bonding with a Ketheri, it isn't simple. It requires soul alignment." He grinned. "Good thing humans are adaptable." She laughed, a small, crystalline sound. And for the first time, she let her fractures shine fully. Light rippled from her scars, shimmering like starlight on water. Beautiful, alive, strong. Daniel touched her cheek softly. "There you are." Her heart glowed brighter. "Daniel Reyes," she whispered, "no one ever wanted to bond with me. Not truly. Not fully." He leaned closer. "Well," he said softly, "humans have a habit of wanting the things everyone else is too blind to appreciate." She closed her eyes, and for the first time in her life, she hoped. Epilogue. The first human Ketheri bond. Months later, the news broke across the galaxy. A human and a fractured Ketheri had begun a formal bonding process. Some cultures rejoiced. Some whispered. Some condemned. But none of that mattered, because Elwyarena no longer hid. And Daniel never let go of her hand. And, in the end, the universe learned what she already knew. Humans don't see scars. They see stories. And they love the ones worth reading.